Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. Is he so fierce? He hasn't started yet. On the other side, Junlin was playing the flute. The reason why he stopped halfway was because he wanted to change his style and try to change his mood. It felt good. Playing the flute when he had nothing to do could cultivate his sentiments and please his body and mind. As for the turmoil in the outside world, Junlin naturally knew about it, but he was too lazy to care about it. Anyway, there were 2 apprentices to deal with it. After a while, after Junlin finished playing the flute, he seemed to have some feelings. He walked over and opened the door. In front of him stood a graceful, fair-skinned, charming and lovely woman in yellow. Originally, and Miaoi was still immersed in the sound of the flute. Seeing the door suddenly open, she was frightened and took a few steps back. Her hands were nervously intertwined. Her watery eyes were as clear as a spring, reflecting the handsome young man with long silver-white hair hanging down to his waist. That ethereal temperament was like a banished immortal descending from the top of the cloud. And Miaoi's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. She didn't expect that this musician was actually a heavenly figure. She was originally eloquent. When she saw Junlin, her face flushed slightly, and she stammered, "Senior, I'm sorry to bother you. I actually want to." Junlin's eyes lit up, and he immediately pulled her in and slammed the door. The 2 looked at each other. Junlin urged excitedly, "Hurry up, give me your pussy." And Miaoi suspected that she had heard it wrong, and her mind went blank for a moment. "Quick, give it to me." Junlin looked anxious and stretched out his hand as if to ask for something. And Miaoi's pretty face turned red and her head felt dizzy. As the daughter of the leader of the Taoist sect, she has seen too many young talents use various tricks and methods to please herself, just to win her favor. But this is the first time Miaoi has seen a boy like tonight who goes straight to the point without beating around the bush. Although she was attracted by Junlin's flute sound and was a little moved by his handsome image, and Miaoi felt that it was too much for Meng Lang to make such a request as soon as they met. It's quite a favorable impression. As her thoughts turned, and Miaoi pushed the silver-haired young man in front of her away, shook her head and said, "Master, please be respectful, I am not that kind of casual woman." This time it was Junlin's turn to be confused. "What's the meaning? I just want a pen. Do you have to be so serious? Girl, are you sure you don't want my autograph?" Junlin asked tentatively. And Miaoi was stunned, her brain spinning rapidly, and then she realized that she had thought wrongly. Instantly, her face became even redder, like a big red apple. But soon, and Miaoi adjusted her state in time and asked with a puzzled face, "Why do I want your autograph? Are you famous in the eastern region?" Junlin was choked. He was afraid that this girl didn't know him. "The flute you play is very nice. You are obviously a musician and must be very famous in your local area. However, I have never seen you before. I was just attracted by your flute sound, so I dared to come and visit." And Miaoi explained. Junlin was a little embarrassed, "So that's it, it was me who was abrupt. However, we are destined to meet each other. I am Miaoi, a local from Guangzhou. May I ask your surname?" And Miaoi said politely. "Hello, Missin, my name is Yi Fan." Junlin paused for a moment and said, "I'm from Huangzhou." Junlin had a hunch that this time the Yaowang Valley gathered heroes from all over the world, and the group of imposters would definitely take this opportunity to do something big again. So he thought it would be better to conceal his true identity first to avoid unnecessary complications and prevent the news from being leaked in advance. "Are you from Huangzhou?" And Miaoi opened her beautiful eyes and lightly covered her delicate lips.
"Yeah."
"What's wrong?" "Mr. Yi, actually I had a very bad impression of Huangzhou before. The elders said that it was a backward and barren land. It was the most insignificant dojo in the eastern region. It would be difficult to even produce a god. And Miao follow the truth." Junlin was not angry and nodded, "Indeed. In the past, In Huangzhou, Yuanying could walk sideways, let alone the transformed spirit. But now, the appearance of Xintian sect has refreshed my understanding of Huangzhou. I suddenly discovered that this is a seriously underestimated place. And Miaoyi said. Yi Junlin smiled and said, so, your impression of Huangzhou has improved now? No, it's worse. What? Yi Junlin was stunned. And Miaoyi put her hands on her hips and said angrily, Yi Junlin, the master of Piaomiao Peak of Xintian sect, relies on his advanced cultivation to do all kinds of evil. During this period, he brought his disciples to Wuzhou to loot various monks. Uncle Fan and I have both become victims. A great virtual immortal in the tribulation stage can actually do such a despicable thing. It is really a shame to the cultivation world of the eastern region. Ahem. Yi Junlin coughed a few times and said solemnly, Missin, I think there must be some misunderstanding. In the eyes of us Huangzhou people, Yi Junlin is a perfect man who is unique in the world. Not only is he powerful and well-behaved, but he also has a face that is so impeccably handsome that it explodes in all directions. Even I, a man, almost fell in love with him when I saw him. You said, how could such an excellent man do something that tarnishes his reputation? It's not like that. Hear the words. And Miaoyi looked strange and stared straight at the silver-haired young man in front of her. If she hadn't seen Yi Junlin with her own eyes, she would have been deceived before. She must believe that he is powerful, but Miaoyi scorns it because of his good character and handsome appearance. Mr. Yi, there is no one else here. You can tell me the truth without worrying about the content of your words being leaked and causing the white-haired old devil to take revenge. And Miaoyi said with a sincere tone, her beautiful eyes twinkling. Yi Junlin's mouth twitched, Missin, you have a very rich imagination. Hey, judging from Mr. Ye's performance, it is enough to prove how heinous the white-haired old devil is. He uses cruel methods to oppress the people of Huangzhou and forces you to open your eyes and tell lies. In fact, your fear of the white-haired old devil is it has penetrated deep into the bone marrow, and life must be very hard on weekdays, right? Don't be afraid, justice will eventually defeat evil. I will work hard to become stronger, and then I will take the life of the white-haired old devil and save the suffering people of Huangzhou. And Miaoyi waved her fists, looking filled with indignation. He could finally see that this woman was full of hatred for Yi Junlin, but full of sympathy for him. And Miaoyi frowned, Mr. Yi, what's your expression? Am I right? Yes, yes. Yi Junlin gave a thumbs up, come on, I'm very optimistic about you. Defeat Yi Junlin and save Huangzhou. I will. And Miaoyi nodded heavily, not hearing anything wrong with this sentence. Yi Junlin. By the way, Mr. Yi, you have to be careful, this has been. Before Miaoyi finished speaking, she sensed something and decisively opened the door and walked out, Uncle Fan, I'm here. Swish. Fan Dezheng flashed over and said seriously, Miss, why are you here? Didn't I tell you to stay in the room? And Miaoyi scratched her cheek with her fingers, feeling a little embarrassed, just now I heard someone playing the flute, and I thought the tune was very nice, so I followed the source to find here. Wait, you mean, you found the owner of the flute? Fan Dezheng's eyes lit up and said excitedly. This is a real boss who resolved the crisis of the entire inn. Yes, he's here. And Miaoyi pulled Yi Junlin out with one hand and introduced, his name is Yi Fan. Master Yi, I admire your skills. Fan Dezheng's face changed slightly and he cupped his hands. Somehow, seeing Yi Junlin's personal image, his heart skipped a beat. Yi Junlin smiled and said, it's easy to talk, it's just a special skill that I'm good at. Seeing Uncle Fan's complimentary behavior, and Miaoyi felt a little strange. Huh. Brush. At this time, Hong Qianye and Li Wujie fell next to Yi Junlin respectively. I have met two fellow Taoists. Fan Dezheng did not dare to neglect. After all, he had seen how powerful these two people were. Hong Qianye opened his mouth and was about to say the word master when he suddenly heard a secret voice transmission, causing him to hold it back and said with a strange look on his face, Brother Yi, the problems outside have been solved. That's good. Yi Junlin smiled and nodded. These two are. And Maya Yimai's eyes widened, her eyes almost focused on Hong Qianye, marveling at this person's appearance and temperament. So beautiful, like a fairy. Yi Junlin said seriously, the one in red is named Wang Suihua, and the one with the knife is named Li Taidan. Hong Qianye cast an incredulous look, what are you doing? Oh my god, Wang Suihua. This is not my name. As a result, when he came into contact with Yi Junlin's meaningful eyes, the all-powerful leader of the demon cult was defeated like a frost. He lowered his head and said with difficulty, yes, my name is Wang Suihua. When he said this name, Hong Qianye suddenly felt a little ashamed, and his dissatisfaction with Yi Junlin rose to a new level. Li Wujie scratched his head, yes, my name is Li Taidan. Li Wujie didn't care. As long as it was the master's order, he would 100% listen to it without any complaints. I've met two fellow Taoists. And Miaoi nodded, especially surprised by Hong Qianye's name, which was seriously inconsistent with his image. She is so good-looking, but she turns out to be called Wang Suihua, which is a pity. Then. The few of them were polite to each other for a while, and then Miaoi was pulled back by Fan Dezheng. Master, you were. Li Wujie said tentatively. Yi Junlin put one hand behind his back and held the flute in front of his abdomen. He pretended to cough a few times and said solemnly, this is how I feel, that group of counterfeiters will probably take action again. It's best these days. Don't leak any information to avoid alerting others. Master is wise. Li Wujie complimented. Hong Qianye cursed in his heart, saying so, but why should he be called Wang Suihua? Are you a genius at naming? Other side. Fan Dezheng said with emotion that Mr. Yi is very extraordinary. He didn't show up tonight, but he was able to control the enemy with the sound of the flute, resolve this crisis, and play with those abyssal creatures in the palm of his hand. I admire him, I admire him. Uncle Fan, is it such an exaggeration? And Miaoi said in surprise. Furthermore, I could see that the other two people were vaguely respecting him during the whole process, which further convinced me that Mr. Yi was powerful. Fan Dezheng was thinking deeply, and for some reason, when those people get together, they give me an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Uncle Fan, don't think too much. Mr. Yi and the others are all good people. When the Medicine King Valley opens, you can consider traveling with them, and Miaoi said. Fan Dezheng said solemnly, Miss, you know people but don't know their hearts. You have stayed in the Taoist sect for too long since you were a child, and you don't know the dangers of the outside world. If you ask me, these people reveal something weird. We still have to be cautious. After all. Oh, Uncle Fan, why are you becoming more and more preachy like my dad? I just couldn't stand my dad's nagging, so I thought of running out. I'm sleepy now. I want to go to bed. See you in the morning. And Miaoi quickly slipped into the room and slammed the door. Fan Dezheng was stunned, then shook his head and sighed, Sect Master, your precious daughter is really difficult to take care of. Early morning hours. The guests in the inn were waking up one after another. They had no idea what happened last night, and they were even satisfied with the dreams they had last night. Master, this is your tiramisu. Bai Xiaoxi held the plate and gently placed the newly prepared dessert on the table. Yi Junlin picked up the spoon, took a sip, showed a satisfied smile on his face, and praised, Xiaoxi, you are really a genius in cooking food. Actually, it doesn't happen either. Bai Xiaoxi scratched his head, and when he heard the master's praise, his body squirmed and he felt very happy. By the way, did you sleep well last night? Yi Junlin asked deliberately. Hearing this, Bai Xiaoxi's eyes brightened and she said excitedly, Master, Shushu had a sweet dream last night. There were many, many delicious things in the dream, including everything. After Shushu had eaten and drank enough, I just lay on the clouds and had a wonderful sleep. Yi Junlin smiled and said. It sounds interesting. Sure enough, this white-haired rat was so heartless that he could still sleep even in his dreams. Master, does the kind of world described by Shushu really exist? Shushu really wants to see it. Bai Xiaoxi said longingly. Yi Junlin touched its head. The universe is so big, maybe the kind of world you mentioned really exists. If you have the chance, I will take you there as my teacher. Okay. Bai Xiaoxi jumped up happily, like an innocent child. Just then. 100 miles away from Tianling City, a valley guarded by a mysterious taboo formation erupted with huge movement. Boom boom. Dazzling beams of light shot up into the sky, and countless runes circled in the sky like tadpoles, and the whole valley released an irresistible breath. In an instant, the faces of the cultivators who were paying close attention to the situation changed drastically, and then their eyes were filled with surprise. The Medicine King Valley is open. The Medicine King Valley is open. The exclamations came one after another, shaking the earth. This news also spread quickly to Tianling City. Boom. Tianling City suddenly erupted in a sensation. Whether it was the streets and alleys, inns and taverns, or even brothels, you could see cultivators quickly moving, flying into the air and stepping on flying swords. Swish swish swish. The sound of breaking wind was sharp and piercing. In the air, densely packed cultivators were rushing to the Medicine King Valley, dragging out countless tails of different colors. Strange, it's not the same as the time predicted by the rumors. It opened so suddenly this time. In the corridor, and Miaoi looked at the mighty figures of monks in the sky and smacked her lips. Let's go. Fan Dezheng looked solemn, pulled Miaoi up and disappeared from the spot. After a while, the two were already 10,000 meters away. Master, it's time for us to set off. Hong Qianye and Li Wujie appeared, bowed and said in a deep voice. Yi Junlin finished his tiramisu slowly, took Bai Xiaoxi's hand and walked out of the door. Let's go to Yaowang Valley. At this time, the Medicine King Valley is surrounded by a mysterious and hazy energy mist, and the medicinal fragrance wafting out of it is refreshing. Countless monks looked intoxicated and sniffed hard, as if just taking a few more puffs would improve their cultivation greatly. I can already feel that there are countless treasures of heaven and earth waiting for me inside. If I can get a top-grade precious medicine, I will be sure to break through from the body to the Mahayana, achieve the name of a venerable, and live 50,000 years, free in the world. The best treasure medicine? This fellow Taoist really dares to think that as long as I can successfully obtain an ordinary treasure medicine, I will be satisfied. This is the famous Medicine King Valley. Not to mention the rare treasure medicine in the world, even the Medicine King must have it. If you can get a Medicine King, it will be more than enough to break through the tribulation. Hiss, you mean Medicine King? This kind of extremely rare medicinal material will probably beat a big boss in the tribulation realm to a bloody head. Is it something that small characters like you and I can covet? There was a buzz of people all around and the noise was extremely noisy. Looking around, a large number of figures gathered at the entrance of Yaowang Valley, and the ground and sky were full of darkness. The monks from all over the world were very excited, and their minds were filled with thoughts of having adventures and soaring into the sky. After all, Medicine King Valley opens once every 100,000 years. 100,000 years is such a long time, even for most practitioners, it is unimaginable. Even the so-called Supreme Mahayana Realm Masters can only live for 50,000 years. If they miss it once, they will not be able to wait until the next time it is activated. Therefore, it is such a blessing for many monks to encounter this opportunity. Many people in the crowd were thinking wildly, hoping to obtain more precious medicines, and some even had their thoughts set on the King of Medicines. As we all know, medicinal materials are also divided into 3, 6 or 9 grades, namely elixir, treasure medicine, king medicine, great medicine king, and fairy medicine. In the middle, it is divided into low grade to top grade. In the world of cultivation, elixirs are the mainstay. Anyone who reaches the level of precious medicines will hold a major auction, attracting competition from all parties. If you just throw one out casually, it will blow your mind. As for the Medicine King, it is extremely rare. In the past tens of thousands of years, there has been very little trace of the Medicine King in the eastern region. This kind of famous medicine would make even the Tribulation realm jealous, let alone the Mahayana realm. Uncle Fan, can Yaowang Valley accommodate so many people at one time? The competition is too fierce. And Miaoyi looked around and said in surprise. According to records, Yaowang Valley has a limit on the number of people and time, and if a monk's life is in danger, he will be teleported out by the Yaowang Valley's formation. Generally speaking, Yozuan's arrangements back then were very appropriate. I and other juniors can receive his kindness, and there is really no way to repay him. Fan Dizheng put his hands behind his back and expressed emotion on his face. He admired the ancient sage's actions very much. Grandpa Yozuan, he must be a good man. And Miaoyi said with a smile. Suddenly, Fan Dizheng noticed something and felt alarmed. He glanced around the vast sea of people, his eyes full of deep fear. Uncle Fan, what's wrong with you? And Miaoyi asked curiously. Fan Dizheng said solemnly, Miss, you are right, the competition will be really fierce this time. After entering later, you must not act without authorization. You must always stay with me. Just now he sensed that there were at least a dozen powerful auras, no less powerful than him, a perfect Mahayana monk. There are even some hidden tribulation experts among them. It can only be said that the attraction brought by Yaowang Valley this time is really great. At this time, a group of monks in cassocks chanted sutras with their heads lowered under the plane trees. Their whole bodies were filled with golden Buddha light, full of tranquility and peace. The leader was an old monk with a thin figure and a long white beard that hung down to his neck. He clasped his hands together, closed his eyes and meditated, standing quietly like a clay sculpture. Unlike the group of monks behind him, whose whole body was covered with Buddha light, he looked ordinary, without even the most basic sense of Zen. He was very ordinary. However, the group of monks behind him were very respectful to him. Because they knew that this person's cultivation level was unfathomable and he was a very senior person in Xiankong Temple. Ba, with Master Randang leading us this time, we will definitely be able to bring enough famous medicines. A fat monk said. That's for sure. There were rumors in the Xiankong Temple that as early as 100,000 years ago, Master Randang entered the Medicine King Valley alone and gained a lot of blessings, which further enhanced his strength. A companion said with envy. That's good, that's good. With Master Randang taking action, Yaowang Valley must be in my possession of Xiankong Temple. Several people looked at each other and smiled. This group of monks communicated with each other, so naturally they couldn't hide it from the old monk. Master Randang slowly opened his eyes, a look of helplessness flashed across his eyes, and an imperceptible bitterness showed at the corner of his mouth. Everyone in Xiankong Temple knew that he had entered Yaowang Valley 100,000 years ago, and immediately went into seclusion after coming out. He made a breakthrough in cultivation, and thought he had obtained good fortune from it. Actually, this is not the case. Yaowang Valley is much more than what it appears on the surface, and there are hidden mysteries within it that are simply unimaginable. After many monks came out, their Taoist hearts almost collapsed, and they refused to mention what happened inside. Each and every one of them tacitly concealed the truth inside Yaowang Valley. Among them, there were some kind-hearted people who couldn't bear it in the following days and wanted to reveal what they had experienced inside, so as to warn the younger generation to proceed with caution. As a result, he was silenced by the insider who came to the door. It was as if he had suffered the same hardships as I have, and the later ones must also suffer them. Of course, there are also stubborn people who want to write a book about what they saw and heard inside and make it public. Who would have thought that after the news was leaked, many former participants rushed to the scene that night and beat the man to death, scattered his ashes, and killed all his descendants to serve as a warning to others. So far, the truth of Medicine King Valley has been concealed, and the interval between opening every 100,000 years is too long, leaving only a mysterious color, so every time it will attract many uninformed monks, who rush to pursue opportunities, and then get beaten inside, fall into autism, and then conceal the inside story, and so on and so forth. Master Randang knows very well that there are very few people who know the inside story so far. After all, those who can survive for 100,000 years are all in the tribulation realm without exception. When he recalled what he had experienced, he felt humiliated and embarrassed. After returning, I practiced harder and became braver. After many years, I have made up for my shortcomings and my strength has improved by leaps and bounds. Even if I face those little guys in Yaowang Valley again, I will be able to handle them with ease and even suppress them all. Master Randang said secretly with a gleam in his eyes. He wants to avenge his previous shame and make up for the psychological trauma of that year. Swish, swish, swish. Several figures turned into streams of light and descended. Master, this is the Medicine King Valley. It is said that a large number of heavenly materials and earthly treasures are planted in the valley. There are many rare medicinal plants in the valley that are extremely difficult to find in the outside world. Li Wujie said excitedly. If he could refine a few precious medicines, it would be very helpful for him to break through in cultivation. Interesting. Hong Qianya's eyes flickered, and he was very interested in this Medicine King Valley. According to the description, even if this kind of place were placed in the central region, it would still cause fierce competition among the major immortal orthodoxy. After all, no cultivation force would think that they have too many cultivation resources. Yi Junlin shrugged. The reason why he wanted to go in was simply to go through the motions and complete the system sign-in task. No matter how rare the medicinal materials are, they have no value to him, because he does not need to use them to enhance his strength and break through his cultivation. At this moment, a change occurred at the entrance of Yaowang Valley. A vortex visible to the naked eye quickly condensed and then began to expand crazily. Quick, get in quickly. Come on. Many monks rushed into the whirlpool as if they had been given a shot of blood. Miss, let's go. Fan Dezheng held in Miaoi by the hand, bursting out with the majestic momentum of the Mahayana realm, overturning many monks blocking the way, and then rushed in fearlessly. Among them, Master Randang took a deep breath. This was the place of his unforgettable nightmare, but now he has to face it again. If he doesn't fail this time, he will definitely achieve enlightenment and become an immortal in the future. You few, stay and take care of me, the rest of you, go in with me. Yes. Master Randang made a foolproof plan, and then led the troops into Yaowang Valley. Other side. Yi Junlin's face was calm, and he led a few disciples into the whirlpool. For a moment, I felt like the world was spinning, and there were countless strange runes flickering around me. Soon, he appeared in a clearing filled with birdsong and flowers. Here it is like spring all year round, the sun is shining brightly, the lush vegetation is lush and leafy, and the surrounding aura is so rich that it is unimaginable. Yi Junlin and the others stood on the top of the cliff, looking far into the distance. The winding mountains looked like a sleeping giant, and the entire valley was shrouded in clouds and mist, like a fairyland in the sky. It turns out that this is the interior scene of Yaowang Valley, it's so spectacular. Li Wujie said with emotion. Hong Qianya was stunned at first, frowning, then his expression suddenly changed, and he lost his voice. What's going on? My realm. He was shocked to find that his originally perfect Mahayana cultivation had somehow regressed to the original state of Qi training. Moreover, he happened to be stuck at the 9th level of Qi training. Mine too. Li Wujie reacted and was shocked. For those who are strong in the Mahayana realm, anyone whose cultivation level falls to the Qi training realm will find it difficult to accept. It's like a wealthy businessman who was so rich that he suddenly became poor and became as poor as a beggar on the street. Yi Junlin looked in disbelief. His cultivation in the middle stage of transcending the tribulation had also dropped to the 9th level of Qi training. This is something he has worked hard to cultivate. Ahem, okay, admit it, it was a bit over the top. Soon, Yi Junlin's expression returned to normal, and he didn't feel distressed at all. For him, realms are just decorations. As long as he faces a strong person in the tribulation realm again, his cultivation level can be restored immediately. Moreover, the reason for the regression in cultivation must be related to Yaowang Valley. Yi Junlin rubbed his chin, playing with the taste. It seems that it is the trick of the medicine master. He wants to forcefully suppress our cultivation and then compete in this valley. At the 9th level of Qi training, the destructive power is indeed relatively small. Even if everyone lets go and fights, it will not have an impact on the valley. However, it is inevitable that you will feel a little uncomfortable when you suddenly change from a boss to a rookie.